mentioned the National Treasury regulations and said you didn't consider that, yet you quoted that. And that laws, I put it to you, will prove that you acted illegally. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, let's take a break. We are going to come back at 20 to 9. It's now 8:10. We're taking a 30 minutes break. We're going to come back. General Phahlane, at 20 to 9, you'll be seated there for the next honorable member. Thank you.
system has nothing to do with forensic services.
But
It's actually applicable in the broader South African Police Service. It had to do with what do you call, like for example, with relating to firearms, track and
Yes, yes.
trace, and so on. So broader subs. The contract that you can say amongst these was in the main, but not specifically solely for, because there was a decision to roll it out, is the property control and exhibit management system,
Yes.
which allowed the laboratories to track and trace and better manage the exhibits. So the contracts applicable were not solely or
yes, I
primarily
understand that.
for forensic services.
No, thanks for the clarification, but they did have a huge monopoly, FDA, because they were the only company that could actually provide that system. Am I correct? That's why
If-
competitive bidding couldn't really occur, because they were the only ones that could provide the service.
No, I suspect the honourable member, some of the information at your disposal is not correct. Even here, and IPIT, McBride and Sissoko, they were alleging that this is a green,
Yeah, evergreen contract.
evergreen contract.
Yeah.
These are not the only so-called evergreen contract in subs. The property control and management system was developed initially within the service, and then later on, the person who moved out, and that development happened when FDA was contracted with PCAM. So it's not a monopoly or an evergreen contract, as it was alleged.
Well, the court in their judgment in 2025 said that that's the reason the whole system, the national security is dependent on that contract, and that's why the court ruled in favor of FTA. But the fact of the matter is, there was a lot of evidence in front of SCOPA with, for instance, members or officials from supply chain management going to Manchester United games on the ticket of Keating. Those type of things are not political interference. That's evidence. I want to go back to, you now explained what the effect of that SCOPA hearings were. But why do you say it was political interference?
Honorable member, even that part is incorrect. There is in here, and I hope to get to it, I think it is important. There is here a letter signed by the same National Commissioner General Setole to SCOPA, where they were answering on those allegations, because initially that was the allegation to say members were funded by FDA to go abroad to watch Manchester United, and that they were bought T-shirts and so on. And in this report, I'll find it. Hopefully, the team is looking for it here. It was found that the subs itself paid for authorized the trip and paid for the trip, and the members themselves paid for their own T-shirts. And that picture, which was shown by Tim, I think it's Honorable Tim Blores, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the DA, yeah.
That photo was actually doctored. There is a person missing in that particular picture, which was to portray what was being said. And that person, unfortunately, was involved in this IDEC and so on. It is not true.
Okay. So you are saying it was a huge manipulation of Parliament. Is that what you are alleging?
I'm not alleging, I'm confirming that it was, because it is even in the letter and the submission to the same scoper. I don't want to leave without getting that letter. Chair, once I lay my hands on it, I'm going to just make it reference to you. That's why we, amongst others, say, why did we go and risk the organization on 1.1 billion, which is even becoming more, while the facts were presented to Parliament? And I think I'm saying it somewhere in my affidavit when I'm talking about the, Project Cyborg.
Okay. But, Mr. Phahlane, you can't deny that a lot of corruption took place in subs, are taking place, but took place before your tenure, but also during your tenure. You can't deny that. There's a lot of corruption in subs.
I will deny, unless you show me specifics. I will definitely deny. And I'm denying because even today, you see, when I was made to go and sit home, step aside, investigations were conducted in that forensic services environment. This FDA, Atemba, and so on were all investigated. There is not a single one of those cases before court because it was found that those allegations are baseless.
It would be very interesting if you are so squeaky clean, but I commend you for that if that's true, because I think what we've gathered from in this time in this at our committee is that there's a lot of rot and a lot of misappropriation and a lot of fraud and corruption in subs on all levels. And you were the accounting officer for 2 years, where even if you were not directly involved in any corruption, corruption took place on your watch. Do you deny that?
I deny.
So in those 2 years, there were no corruption in subs.
No, I won't say there was no corruption, but I'm advising that let the facts be made visible. You have cases currently in court. You, for example, have, and I know on the list you were, as honorable members, debating whether you should have, is it Krishni Chetty as a witness. Now, you have got cases, for example, in supply chain management, where over 50 people, but in total, if we include the companies, 70 something, are before court for the marking of the police vehicles. Now, honorable member, even if I was not an investigating officer, I'm just sitting. How is 50 or 70 people going to collaborate? They're all aunties who are going on pension.
I'll have to stop you. I'm running out of time. Earlier today, you were referred to the forensic reports
Yes.
by the evidence leader, and you took issue that it was placed in front of you.
Yeah.
But I just want to get clarity. Have you never had sight of those forensic reports?
In the report themselves, honorable member, there is a Mr. Nyatlu who was conducting those investigations. Who is saying there?
So you have seen the reports before?
I've never seen them before.
You've never
He's
seen
saying there, I did not have a meeting with General Phahlane. I never interviewed him. So it is afterwards that I was hearing these reports. And yes, I looked at them, but not with thorough scrutiny, because they really have got nothing to do with me, those particular reports.
Okay. Then you earlier said that when the Honourable Souls questioned you that you don't interfere in bidding and in procurement.
Of course.
Then effectively. But with the with the FDA issue, when the Temba contract bid was awarded, you wrote a letter to the, as divisional commissioner, to the bid committee head, or the divisional commissioner SCM, saying that it should be reevaluated. Isn't that interference?
Sorry, honorable member, what did I say?
You wrote, and this is in the in your annexure JKP 17A on page 1008, 1008, paragraph 5.3. You wrote a letter on the 22nd of October 2024, and you requested that the bid be re-evaluated. Is that not interference?
Sorry, honorable member, you said 1,000?
And 8
1,008?
of the annexures.
Yeah, I'm in 1,008. Where is that?
5.3.
I actually would want to applaud the honorable member for going to this. If you look at this document, it's the AG,
No,
Auditor
no.
General.
Correct.
Now, the Auditor General is saying, subsequent to the award, the department received a complaint from another bidder dated 22 August 2014, indicating that the awarded bidder did not meet the specifications. Now, that's FTA.
Correct.
Now, supply chain management sends this complaint to me. I did not ask them. They sent it to me because we are the end user. Now, in a letter dated 22 October 2014 from Divisional Commissioner Forensic Services, which is me, to supply chain management, it was recommended that the contract issued to the supplier be withdrawn. There is no
Correct.
re-evaluation.
Yeah, if you read, but we don't have time. If you continue the paragraph, you'll see that it's then recommended that the bid be re-evaluated.
No, but
The tender
that
be
cannot,
re-evaluated.
that cannot be attributed to me. It is the Divisional Commissioner, Supply Chain Management,
fact
who
of the matter
writes
is-
to the BEC,
I
and
understand
that
that.
process is illegal.
But
It's
you
provided
started
nowhere.
the process. Now the question is, if you could do this here when you had a complaint that there was not compliance to the specifications, why could you not have done it with the other bid
Which bit?
when you were the acting commissioner, when you approved the deviation? Why could you not have then stepped in and ensured that there is compliance?
No.
Because there you say you can't interfere, but here you interfere.
Honorable member, I'm not. These are two separate
It's
matters.
two separate
no,
matters, but
maybe I
it's the
must be
same
allowed to
issue.
answer the question.
We don't have time for long answers.
No, there's no long answer, but you are not going to attribute something which is incorrect to me and you expect me to accept it. I'm saying, in this case, a complaint comes to me.
Exactly.
The complaints say this thing is not compliant. I send it to the expert. The experts say it is not complying. I write back with the recommendations of the expert and say, go into a process because it's provided for by the general conditions of contract, clause 2.7, which say they can go into a process. I
Yes.
never asked for reevaluation. Now, in that other contract, you are talking about deviation. There was no procurement sitting in front of me. It's deviation and application for
Correct.
deviation.
But the National Treasury Regulation says that the accounting officer should then ensure and do what it should do to ensure that there is, in such circumstances, no malfeasance. That's what the regulation says. But you say you can't interfere. But here you get a complaint and you say withdraw the contract and act on this.
Honorable member, unfortunately, I can't help if I'm trying to explain something that you don't accept. I'm saying I'll do it tomorrow again. If there is a contract which is non-compliant, it must be dealt with in terms of contract management. Those responsible must embark on that process, including independent assessment. There is no way in the same treasury regulations where it provides for reconvening the bid evaluation committee. There is no such, and it happened here. Now there I was considering deviation, not procurement. These are two separate things.
It's really not. But thank you, Chairperson. I think my time has expired. Let me just make one last comment. And that is now, you introduced Afrikaans. Let me say this in Afrikaans. Dis baie gevaarlik as 'n mens arrogansie jou intelligensie oorskry. Thank you, Chair.
That is baie arrogant.
Gevaarlijk.
Ek dink so.
Gevaarlijk. Gevaarlijk is koetsierlijk.
Gevaarlik. Moet ek antwoord?
Gevaarlijk is dangerous.
Kan ek kommentaar lewer?
Is koetsierlijk in Northern South.
Ja, so. Ek gaan nie, meneer. Buitekant sal ek praat.
Yeah. Honorable James.
Thank you so much, Chair. It feels like we've been in a CCMA hearing all day today. Do you agree with me, sir?
I agree.
Yeah. Let's get back to the matters pertaining to the ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Phahlane, Mr. McBride alleged before this committee that you received kickbacks from service providers contracted to SAPS. So today I'd just like to seek some clarity. You heard that, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those, you know why we actually brought you here? Because when they said they were plotting against a general, we thought, no ways, we have to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought that you were unfairly treated.
Yeah.
That's why you came here today. Mm-hmm. But now we've seen a different side. But anyway, while serving in SAPS, did you at any stage have direct or indirect contact with any SAPS service provider outside formal procurement, contractual or operational processes?
The only service provider I had outside contractual will be criminalistic or crime, crime tech. When I sourced the services from that contractor of an interior designer, it is from that service provider or through that service provider that I procured the music system.
Okay. At any point, did you receive any financial benefit, gift, service of any kind from a service provider contracted to SAPS? Did you get anything out of it?
No,
Nothing?
no.
Okay. You spoke earlier on about visiting Crime Tech. You just confirmed again a SAP service provider, and that it later transpired that that employer that you mentioned right now of that company assisted in the installation of a very expensive sound system at your residence. You've confirmed that. You've said that, right?
That I confirm.
And that is okay. That is okay for a general to then, take services from a service provider. It's okay. It's allowed at your level.
Honorable Member, if this was using state funds, if I was drawing kickbacks, or if the service provider was doing me favors that I'm not paying for, it will be completely wrong. But I contracted that service provider as an interior designer. And
And
because
you see absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Because it has got, this service provider has never rendered services to the South African Police Service as an interior designer.
But it's a service provider, irrespective of what they do. The fact of the matter is it's a service provider.
But service providers are human beings, and they do business in other areas, in private. So I really, if it is maybe a lapse on my part, I'll admit, but at the time, I did not see anything wrong because I paid for the services that I required.
Okay, sir, so help me out here. Are you aware of the forensic report conducted by CPN,
I'm fully aware.
right? Which found that SAPS, and in particular the Forensic Services Division, which you led at the time, right? Now you said there's nothing wrong, right? So I want to show you. That same company that was rendering services in terms of interior decorating and installing sound systems, right, was overpaid by nearly 500,000.
I'm yet to see that, Honorable Member.
I've got the report here.
Yeah, I'm yet,
Right.
I'm
So
yet
that
to see
same
that.
company that you just said there's nothing wrong, that same company, after you utilized their services, they were overpaid by 500,000 rand. You've got-
I don't think so.
Does that not strike you as questionable?
No.
Doesn't? Okay.
No. If they were overpaid for services that were not rendered, it is
You
wrong.
just said now you don't know, but I'm saying to you they were overpaid 500,000.
Honorable Member, first I'm saying I did not know of overpayment.
Okay.
But if there is overpayment, it will be wrong because no one, irrespective of who they are, irrespective of their proximity, can they be allowed to lay hands on state funds for services that are not rendered.
All right, let's go, carry on here. How do you respond to the fact that the same forensic report found that over a period of 3 financial years, payments to Crime Tech, your interior decorator, right, increased by an alarming 134%? So they got work. So it's 500,000 rand overpayment, and now it's 134%
Increase in payments.
in payments.
But if the payments increased and services were rendered,
There's no NADI installation of your sound system.
Sorry?
These things are happening.
no, Honorable Member, there is these things are separate. I'm saying,
Okay.
and I'm answering you. I'm saying, if there is let's say a huge, let's call it huge increase of the amount you
So
are talking of.
134% increase in payments is not huge, sir.
But Honorable Member, I just said, if there is a huge increase, like you are talking of 100 and whatever percent, and there were no services rendered for that by that particular service provider, there will be something absolutely wrong. But if those services were rendered, were consumed by the South African Police Service, the products were delivered and they were utilized, which I know they were utilized because it is in that criminal record and crime scene management environment that we were able to reduce the backlogs. We were able to improve performance. We were able to make sure that police clearances are delivered within
Thank you,
6
sir.
days.
Do you also
it can be wrong.
recall, after all of this, do you also recall that an affidavit filed in Pretoria High Court in April 2017, which IPID investigators alleged that you were receiving bags of cash from service providers?
I still, even if they file that report, I still want proof and let that case go to court because there is no such.
So you
It's a
don't find it-
wild allegation.
So, Mr. Phahlane, you don't find it coincidental that you have this contact at a service provider, they install a radio system, suddenly they have an overpayment of 500,000, they have an increase of payments of 134,000, and then an affidavit gets laid saying that you are collecting bags of cash. And you see absolutely nothing wrong with all these coincidences. Niks fout nie.
Honorable Member, I have answered and I'm going to go in the same sequence. I have never seen the overpayment of 500,000. I'm not aware of such. And I confirm that if there is overpayment, it is wrong. You can't overpay for services not rendered. 2, if you talk about 134% increase, if it is in line with the contract delivery and what has been delivered has been utilized, there cannot be anything wrong as long as there is compliance and that which was delivered was not for private use, but it was for use by the police, which I am convinced that those deliveries were for police work, and as a country we derived value out of there. There
Mr.
can be,
Phahlane, you know, in Afrikaans they say, jy kan dink wat jy wil, maar jy kan nie sê wat jy wil nie. This is one of those instances.
that is sure.
Yeah.
That is sure.
My last question, sir. This committee is probing patterns of criminal capture and corruption within SAPS, and you occupied some of the most senior and sensitive positions in this organization, am I right?
Correct.
So with the persistent pattern in which senior officers, the last senior officer that has appeared before us, right, are repeatedly implicated in serious corruption allegations, yet consistently deny any wrongdoing. Everyone that has appeared before us, there's nothing wrong, has detached themselves from any wrongdoing, right? How do you explain and respond to the reality that corruption has become so entrenched within the leadership of SAPS, that even you today face a mountain of allegations?
Honorable member, anyone who is doing anything wrong or found to be doing anything wrong, whether it is me or any other senior manager, the law must take its course. What cannot be is that there are all these baseless allegations that are never supported by anything. I have faced, since 2009, allegations after allegations documented in my affidavit. They are yet to be proven. I am before court on 2 matters.
So
The
I
blue
don't want to hear about those matters. All that I'm trying to point out here today is the fact that we have a crime tech forensic report and that there are many coincidences.
It's not a crime tech, it's CPN forensic
Yes,
report.
the CPN, sorry,
That
yes.
CPN forensic
That
report.
highlights the service provider that you were involved with.
For
And
your-
I'm going to leave it there, sir.
No, honorable member.
No, sir, I don't need you to answer anything further. I just needed to point out that every person, every senior SAPS member that has appeared before this committee has distanced themselves from any wrongdoing, but are extremely close to service providers. 500,000 overpayment, 134% increase in payments, later on collecting bags of cash out of a vehicle. I leave it at that. Thank you.
It's a wild goose that you are chasing.
Here's the goose. The goose
It-
is in the form of a forensic report. He
Honourable
is a yellow
member.
goose, so. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
No.
You want to comment?
I want to comment, Chair.
You are allowed.
Honorable Chair and honorable member, anyone who has got any evidence of wrongdoing on my part, I must be investigated. And if there is any wrongdoing on my part, I must be brought before court.
Just quickly, I still have time, sir. The
Honourable-
very same report says that crime tech, right, never delivered services on several occasions. Earlier on, you said that this was value for money. And they were dealing-
I was seeing the evidence leader whispering to you, it can't be true. There are no goods which were never
I leave it
delivered.
at that. Thank
There
you,
were no
Chair.
such. And for your information, Chair, I sanctioned that report. I sanctioned that investigation. The letter which I've here directed to the National Commissioner then sanctioned that report. And I'm not aware of the things that are being spoken to. There are no findings to that regard. And I was never implicated by that report.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you, Chair. Baba Phahlane, yaphileka baba.
Kuyaphileka.
Akwande. Yeah, I will take from Lao, Honorable James Ayibeke khona ukuthi we called you in here because we noticed ukuthi there was a plot. Indeed, I am starting to believe and see evidence of a plot. Can you kindly open on this one, this index book here? Nobody you can see the bigger one. Page
one?
1172.
11.
72.
But I can't go on. 1172.
Yeah, on your left, there is, okay, after 2, can I start the process?
Yes, I'm on 1172.
There's, on your left there, when you go down, there is a text there by USJT that says, okay, after 2. So I can start the process. Can you see that one? On the WhatsApps. I'm reading on the WhatsApps.
Which okay is it?
Okay, it starts with Mokotedi told John Rabbi. Do you see the first one on top?
1172, sorry.
1702, page 1171.
Oh, I'm on 17, okay.
Can you see that? Okay, after 2, so I can start the process.
Oh, yeah,
We can get the media to request his attendance.
yes.
The next text says his next interview, and then I'll read as fast as I can. Talk to your guy about doing it. Let's do our first and record it, right?
Yes.
Who and who are talking here?
It's Robert McBride and Sarah Jane Trent.
And then on page 1172, text number 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you read it?
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, also look at what he said on 702 and elsewhere.
Yeah, no. Where are you? Page 1172 on top?
1172.
Yes. There's text 1. Okay. The first text says to confirm everything is above board.
Oh, yeah, the second one
That's-
say, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Will it be a presser? And then okay
I
again.
want that one.
You want me to read the
The
okay,
one, yeah.
Okay, will you confirm for Friday at the Polygraph Institute in Centurion? Better at their offices, and we can get a news camera to record it. This is news reporting live from the Polygraph Institute, days after McBride challenges Mkhwanazi.
Okay, can you jump to page 1191? 1191.
1191. Yes, I'm there, Honorable Member.
I noticed Uguti, this was a plot to get Mkhwanazi to be done a polygraph, ne? And ANCA was involved there. And
Yes.
it's this SJT says, Paul must write questions for me and Mkhwanazi. Don't forget to tell Paul to write questions for me and Mkhwanazi.
Which line are we on?
1191. Okay, I'll show you now. On the left, it's text number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Hello, Mr. McBride, Andres Chameleon. Cornelson. Yeah.
Yes. I
Can
can
you read
see.
that one for me?
Hello, Mr. McBride. Andres Corneliusen from ENCA News Channel. We want to arrange times and dates for the polygraph on TV. Can you please confirm that you are still willing to take part in it? Regards, Andres.
Read the last one, the last text there.
Make it clear that it is the polygrapher who will ask the questions.
Who's saying that? To who?
This is McBride. He's communicating with Sarah Jane Trent.
In your understanding, what are they plotting here?
This was a polygraph test which McBride had agreed to, or they said they want. This follows that meeting, the famous meeting at the Krecher House. So once General Mkhwanazi opened a case and so on, this unfolded. So they wanted him and McBride to go for polygraph test. Now, this polygraph test was arranged by Paul O'Sullivan and Sarah Jane Trent. They designated the person who was going to do the polygraph test. Payment was made by them. Questions were said by Paul O'Sullivan. McBride participated in this polygraph test, which allegedly he passed with flying colors.
Was it that? Because in here, the text says, ask Paul to write questions for me and for Mkhwanazi. So
Yes.
does it mean McBride was given the questions before and then he practiced them?
He had the questions and answers, and that's why he went and passed the polygraph test with flying colors. Mkhwanazi withdrew, did not participate in that process.
Was it on TV, on ENC?
Sorry,
Was it on
Honorable
TV, on ENCA?
Yes.
Yakhumbula ukuthi Mr. Nkabinde said in one of the meetings they had, there was 2 DA members there and ENCA members. Would I be wrong if I think the plot here is still in line with that?
I can't remember mention of ENCA members. He said they were
A journalist.
There was a journalist and
From where?
two DA, and he mentioned
AfriForum.
AfriForum, and then with the
A
journalist, he
journalist.
said journalist. Yeah.
Would you suspect that they were from ENCA?
Hey, no, I can't.
Okay.
I can't say so.
Let's go back to page 1172.
1172.
We're still on the WhatsApp, no?
Yes, I'm there.
On the right page, on the right-hand side. Remember the first one you read, it said, okay, I will confirm Friday at the polygraph institution, right?
Yes.
When you go further down from that one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 from that. Looks like polygraphy can be done on Monday. Can you read that one for me?
Looks like polygraph can be done Monday or Tuesday. The guy is going to get it up so that no one can question it. All above board, etc. And that's Sarah Jane Trent.
You understanding?
Well, in other words, it will be done to perfection, and it will be concealed in such a way that it is being seen as genuine.
All right, let's leave that one. Usara Jane Trenlo, uyini, what was she? Where was she employed?
By Paul O'Sullivan.
Was she part of the IP IDEC or something?
Well, she remains an honorary member of IP together with Paul O'Sullivan, because they've been going around with IP investigators. She has been drafting affidavits. She has been drafting applications for 205s. She has been interviewing witnesses together with Paul O'Sullivan, in addition to her other extramural activities as a girlfriend to both.
Does she have the authority to handle such document? Was she employed by SAPS?
Sorry?
Was she employed by IP or was just an honorary?
No.
Ubefakwa nje?
She's employed,
By Paul.
she was employed by Paul, but we now know that IP was managed by McBride through Paul O'Sullivan.
Just to be clear, she was not getting salary from the state,
No, she's not getting a salary.
which
from the
means she
state.
had no right to have information about members of the state.
Not at all.
Let's go to page 1139.
And 39.
And please read from the top for me.
$1,139, sorry. I'm on
1139, page 1139.
I'm there, Chair.
While we are looking, kahle Sarah Jane Trenlo bekajola nobani? Bekajola no Mandla or no McBride? Because la, babizana love and they're planning for amabhodlela bayolala khona endlini. Bese no Mandla bekajola nobani?
With both. McBride and Mandla, the late Mandla.
And Mandla and McBride bebasebenza boyi-2 babangani futhi.
Correct.
So ihlanganisa beku Sarah Jane. Asidlule lapho. Ngicela ungifundele from on the left page from the top.
There is a part, I know Honorable James went through something. It may be that she was very diplomatic. 1236.
1239 page.
You
12.
wanna bang.
Sorry, it's one. No, I'm wrong. 1139, that's the page. 1139. Can read from the top. How is it going?
Yeah, there it is on 1236. I'm just confirming what you were saying.
1236.
And Honorable James said it, although she read it selectively.
If you can even go further back.
No,
on
Pretoria,
Ijolo nje
you-
uqala le move.
We wanna bang. Can you please stop using that? And then there is 1236.
1236. 1236. Are we
Yeah,
allowed to
they
even
on
have
1236, it
Yes.
starts, hi sexy, hi babe. What
Yeah.
you up to? About to go to bed,
You, it's you.
still on road, be safe.
No,
Rest
I'll
will
read
try.
the other part, you read the other one. Rest. Then you read they
Yeah.
will try.
No, there is, yeah, we'll try.
Hey, babhizi labantu.
Yeah, there's
Bauchika
quite a
Bawa.
lot.
There's a Bauchika Wawa. What does it mean, Honorable James? What is Bauchika
On
Wawa?
1235,
1235, yeah.
go 1235 from the top.
Tired and one up.
We mustn't waste time sparing. She have dinner and sex by 2100 hours, sleep at 2200 hours. Of course, I did got banged. Balls are blue, whatever that means.
Was this soccer balls? Okay, let's go back to 1139.
Shongwe and Phahlane, what are you doing?
We are reading what is here.
Eh?
We are reading what is here on the evidence.
Or is
You can
evidence?
read, you can go on the page. Because what I'm trying to get here is that
One-
there was a
one-
plot according to this text, Chair, if you check them.
No, but there is something, honorable member, which I thought you will get to, and I'm aggrieved with Honorable James not reading it because he had it. 1241. Breaking life. IP to raid acting police chief's home. And then there is a question. It's an ENCA breaking news. Who leaked this? Sorry, News 24. Who leaked this? At the bottom, from the bottom, me. That's Robert McBride.
Page, what is this?
It's 1241.
1241. And where exactly?
Um,
Because I'm on a different one here.
Now I'm going to point from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From the bottom.
The breaking news
That
live
is
IP.
who leaked. And then from, if you go down, you pass who leaked this.
Yeah.
And then you'll see there's a question. Hi there, good morning. Hi.
What's up?
What's up?
Me.
And then me.
You are awake?
This me, he's answering who leaked this.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
him who's saying so.
Right, before we go to that, I want us to go back to 1139. It's very important because it links with this one. Mine is what, 1242. Let's go to 1139.
1139.
Yes. Paul, I want to understand what McBride took the whole minister's ID number and gave it to Sarah Jane Trent. And I want to understand why, what was the reason for that? If this was not plotting, what was happening here? Why would Sarah Jane Trent have the minister's ID number? The first page on 1139, it says, hi, How is it going? It's all inquiry cats, Colonel Andre Netling, something like that. Then when you further go down, it says, anything I can do. I saw that Ntlego is trying to get rid of me again. Do you see that one?
Yes, and then the next one say, let him
me
try.
Let him try.
And
And
then
who's saying that? Let him try.
that's Sarah Jane Trent, and she follows it by asking, you have an ID number or cell number?
Of who?
And then that's of the minister, and that one is off. Then he said Ntleko. That's
So-
Robert McBride.
So we have it on record that Robert McBride gave ID numbers of the whole minister to a civilian.
Yes, because date is here and then send quickly. Then try this ID. He sends an ID number. Okay, cool, and then it carries on.
Okay, before my time finish, I want us to tick certain boxes because I only have 3 minutes now. McBride is the one that said you had a sound, a time where a supplier. So that was said by Paul O'Sullivan and McBride. Were they telling the truth or they lied? Do you have a slip? Sound.
Do I have?
Do you have receipt? Do you have proof of payment for the sound?
I've proven, I've got the receipt, I've got communication to my bank,
Okay,
I've got the
let's
bank
take that.
statement which they retrieved. It is in this
So
file.
they lied.
I was hearing the honorable chair saying we must avoid saying lie. Maybe, I don't know. They did not tell the truth, or they were
On
inaccurate.
the case, owaboshwa kuyo, and then they said to Tenny Moto. Were they lying? Or we were you
They
got
were
the
not
cover?
telling the truth because those vehicles were not even my vehicles. Those vehicles were vehicles belonging to the dealership, which were a sponsor to a project that we were running, and those vehicles were subsequently returned to the dealer after the lapse of the agreement period, which was 18 months.
Okay. No, tick, but manga. I worked at Benoni Mechanical College, where we used to fit blue lights as well, in SAPS. One thing I've noticed is that e-motors are magic, they don't have blue light. They don't have blue lights on top. The 1,000 cars that were paraded in Midrand, did you see them on the freeway?
I saw the pictures, yes.
Is this the same reason that the case you were charged with the blue light is stopping e-motors are magic to get some blue lights because there's a case there?
I am charged in a process that has to do with Gauteng and supply chain management that I've got nothing to do with. What I have approved was the specifications to establish a national contract for the police to procure blue lights. And to date, that contract, those specifications, a bid was never published and awarded. It is for that reason that millions and millions are being spent on equipping the vehicles with substandard blue lights. You will see the lights that the cars are driving around with. They are
They don't have
defective.
blue lights. Some of them don't have.
The majority of the vehicles don't have those blue lights.
Why is that?
I used to be the accounting officer. I'm not one now, so I can't answer that question. They can do better by publishing a bid, whichever specifications they go and use, as long as it is specifications that are compliant, which will make the police procure better quality blue lights, which blue lights must not be obtainable by any member of the public, which is why you have got bogus police vehicles, because the lights they are using now, you can buy it anywhere.
So those lights that were supplied by the other company, you mean they were specifically for one customer, which is SAPS, not just anybody who can get them?
Firstly, the quality is very high. That is why the presidential vehicles as well as protection services carry those lights. And those lights are not obtainable around the corner. They get they are high end, and not that each vehicle were to get high end, because when you look at the approval granted, you have all kinds of light, including for the concealed ones, which are in the grill.
Okay, my last question. Please explain this to me in simple terms, as thoroughly as you can. How would a supplier come to you as SAPS and say, people, you've overpaid me with so much? And then that person now, after saying that, gets to be arrested for being overpaid. I don't understand, because SAPS is not the one that picked up Uguti. They made an error or overpaid. But this person comes as a business owner and say, let me be honest and tell you guys, you've overpaid me. I just want to understand, why was that now a case? Why was it called corrupt? Kwenzakalan?
It's targeting. Targeting, that is the only black-owned company supplying lights. Two, if the supplier overpaid, why did those who received money and captured the invoices, why are they not arrested? You only arrest the supplier, you arrest the staff in the supplier's office, but none of the police people in supply chain management or in Gauteng province are being arrested who process the transactions. I cannot explain why it would have happened, other than to say this is targeted, and it's one of those we say is the work of the rogue unit.
The one thing engifuna ukuthi ungivalele ngayo.
We can stop speaking.
Ngiyabonga baba
We-
Phahlane.
Thank you so much, Honorable Shong. Advocate Anansa.
Members. General Phahlane, you once occupied the most senior position in the South African Police Service as the Acting National Commissioner. What would be the procedure when a person is arrested and detained with a device? Can that device be taken from such a person who is now a suspect without that person's consent? And moreover, can the device be taken from that person / suspect and the data on that person's device be downloaded without a warrant or without his or her consent?
Honorable Chair, I choose not to answer that question in detail because I happen to be a complainant in that case. Those who did the investigation and the prosecutor that dealt with the matter are better placed to answer it. So I am conflicted. I'm not going to go into that matter. Safe to say, there is nothing unlawful. Anyone who's arrested, his or her belongings are taken from that person. If that person is going to be detained in the cells, whether it is your belt, your tie, your shoelaces, whether you've got the cell phone, money, it gets removed from the person, and we don't need consent. That gets deposited into a prisoner's property register, SAP 22. So you don't need anyone's permission. I'll end there. As to the investigation will carry. I happen to have been arrested by the same IDEC rogue unit, and they
General
wanted
Phahlane,
my phone.
Can I do what some of the honorable members also do? Please, I've asked you a question. You said you've been in a similar situation and you do not want to respond. Please, with respect, I don't want some long-winded answer. Because the response from you is absolutely shocking, coming from a senior police officer. We all know when you get into
You
a
can
police
tone
station
down a little
or
bit so
into-
that me and you are engaging on the level where
Please,
I can hear.
I've got the microphone. When you are arrested and detained in a police station, yes, especially your shoelaces so that you can't be accused of hanging yourself the next morning, or any other clothing or whatever will be taken and it will be put in a register, but you will sign for it so that you know it's your shoes, your shoelaces, and it's your cell phone the next day. But you cannot take a person's cell phone, open it, and download the information on that person's phone. And I'm saying this because there's two examples, and I'm not pulling it out of my head. Right here before us, Minister Mkhwanazi, they came to his place where he was staying in Pretoria. They wanted his cell phone. Mr. Khomotso, all this data that's been downloaded, including the messages that I read back to you from Brigadier Macheng and the interaction with Mr. Matlala, came from his phone, but there is a document that General Khumalo placed before this Honourable Committee and the Matlanga to show he had consented they can download it from his phone. Now, the question is this. These WhatsApp messages, which you read with great glee between Trent and McBride, where did you get that from?
Honourable
Did you
Chair,
get the permission of Ms. Trent and Mr. McBride for these messages to be placed before this Honourable Committee?
Honourable Chair, I don't know where the other part of the response which is attributed to me comes from. When someone is arrested, you take the properties, the belongings on that person. They go into an SAP 22. You don't need the permission. All what you need is acknowledgement that these are the things that you have taken from me. They go into the police custody, into the safe. And I said, and I'm not going to change, anything else that has to do with investigation, because you used this as an example, anything that relates to the investigation, including the downloading, I say that question is better answered by the investigating officers of the matter. Because while we are taking a long turn about Minister Mkhwanazi was not arrested, General Sivia was not arrested, it was a warrant, a search and seizure warrant, which was at play. That is not applicable in the case where the arrest is made. Kat Matlala, they went and searched the prison cells. A cell phone was found in his possession. It's not because of a search warrant coming from somewhere, but Chair, the people who are better placed to deal with the situation that is being outlined, because I'm conflicted, I'm not going to be talking to. In respect
General
of...
Phahlane, I asked you, where did you get this information from? These WhatsApps that you put in your document, which has now been referred to by Honourable Shongwe, where did you get it from? Did you get the permission?
I got them from where you got those text messages that you were sharing with me.
The text messages I shared with you, I told you where they come from. It comes from Kat Matlala's telephone and the data on his phone, which was downloaded and retrieved by General Khumalo and his team with his consent. It was shown to all of us. That is why we could refer to it. Can you give me the same assurance that you got the
Chairperson.
consent.
I'm not going to give assurance. I'm going to confirm that I got them in the same way that you
Chair.
got those WhatsApp messages. And there were people investigating this case that people were able to build it into a docket. This comes, it's part of the docket, and you will have the privilege of talking to the the prosecutor who's coming here. And those questions, I'm going to leave them there.
Now, I put it to you, and if that is your response,
Can we-
this was unlawfully obtained.
Can we get Honorable Nombal?
Chair, I thought you will intervene, but I think the evidence leader is abusing the platform. And he's not only abusing the platform, he's also abusing us as members of this committee. One, he is now prosecuting the witness. He is not leading evidence. Number two, they had an opportunity because he consulted with the witness. This is not an ambush. He knows these documents because they were brought to him before today's proceedings. So if he has questions over the authenticity of these documents, he was supposed to raise those questions during consultation, not here. Now, he waits for all of us to ask questions, and when we're done, he brings in new issues. He is abusing, and the tone, Chair, is unwarranted. Because he's now shouting at the witness. He must maintain a professional standard at all times, because he is trained to do so. It can be justifiable with us because we are politicians. But he is a senior counsel. The manner in which he is addressing the witness is uncalled for, and it must be condemned with the contempt it deserves. So, Chair, I'm calling a point of order on the evidence leader. What he is doing is completely out of order.
Can I hear Honorable Shongwe?
Chair, ngicela ukuthi usisize la. It is my understanding that, Chair, if you check this document, it has about 1,314 pages, this one. And the other one about 600, the same as the other one. Does Mr. Arends are trying to tell us ukuthi we read all these documents that we always get from them and authorized to get them from, to get these documents from them. And I think he's here for one reason, that if we get this statement, we get a statement signed, an affidavit, and all the annexures from the SC. Is he telling ukuthi usifake enkingeni nathi sesenkingeni for ukuthi siphathe ama-SMS ama-WhatsApp angekho emthethweni ngenxa yakhe? I think, Chair, that one we should see manje, because if we are now in trouble, ukuthi siphethe ama-WhatsApp angekho emthethweni, ubani wavumela utheza lakithi? Because every document we get from him. So I don't understand this, Chair. Can we fix that, please? Can I get it clarity as well?
Honorable Matthys?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We've been sitting here hoping that you would intervene. So number one, the first thing that our evidence leader, senior counsel, said when he started was that as the members of parliament have been doing, he's not a member of parliament, he's our evidence leader and he's supposed to lead evidence, number one. Again, we just spoke about this earlier, Chair. Again, the hostility in his voice on this is not neutral. And this is exactly what he did, the same thing when Honorable James brought these messages in here. And then to echo the same point, is that we can't be getting documents here that haven't gone through the screen and then to be questioning the witness here how he got the documents. They were distributed, we found them here on our table, we've been going in and out here. So we have evidence leaders that are not, I mean, the documents that we shared from Home Affairs, we were very clear that we got that through a whistleblower. There's some very private information in there and it mustn't be circulated publicly. So, Chair, you have to lead and you have to, we can't always be intervening on this. And perhaps the evidence leader right now, the senior counsel, he must rest because he's even bringing us into disrepute over here now. It's not fair on the witness. We are members of parliament. How we engage him should be very different on how he does it. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Skosana?
Thank you, Chair. I think I anchor, my colleagues, other honourable members, because This is for the second time. When Honorable James gave us information, the same question was asked. But today is even different. We were given this document by our team, for God's sake. Now, if we have to interrogate the witness before us, we look stupid, Chair, to say where did this thing comes from. I think the evidence leader and his team, the legal team, were supposed to ask him then, not here. Now we have this in front of us. It's not fair, Chair. Please.
Advocate Arendse.
Honorable Chair, the document that before you, including these WhatsApp messages, were additional documents that were annexed by General Phahlane to his supplementary affidavit. They do not come from us. In the first place, when this matter has been dealt with respect in this honorable committee, when these WhatsApps, or some of them, were first introduced by Honorable James, and Mr. McBride was giving evidence. You may recall that I had indicated at the end of that exchange, because we are not allowed as evidence leaders to object, at the end of that exchange, I indicated to you that this was an unfair ambush on the witness, and that the witness, in this case Mr. McBride, should request from Honorable James where she got these documents from, get copies of it, and get legal advice on the lawfulness or otherwise of it being introduced, even under circumstances of parliamentary privilege. Now, again, because of our time constraint, I didn't have the opportunity of raising it earlier with General Phahlane, and this is the first opportunity I have to do so. I will leave it there. I think I have made the point that General Phahlane is party to unlawful conduct, and by actually making these WhatsApps available outside of Parliament. They've been made available outside of this forum. So I will leave it there. I've made the submission. General Phahlane has responded to it. I'll move on to my next question.
Yeah, I think what we...
Chair, just one more thing, please. The evidence leader, Chair, cannot say
let
that
me,
he only got notice. This thing was here
let
when we
me-
walked in here, when he was
let
doing
me
it in
speak.
the beginning.
Let me speak, Honourable Member. Number one, the point of order that members have raised is sustained. I do not think that the witness is being fairly treated. Especially that, and the honorable members are right that during the consultation process, and when the supplementary affidavit was made, is submitted to yourselves as evidence leaders. And maybe even before the proceedings started, the members could have been warned, or the witness could have been reminded that there is this annexures that you have presented before us. There is no way, as the legal team, we can hide them away from members, because you submitted them to us, but we will go and inform the members and also remind you that there are question marks on how the information would have been obtained. But in these proceedings, there are witnesses who have come before us and have said it before us in these proceedings that they have information. I remember, I can't remember if it was was the first meeting or the second appearance of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. He says, I have capacity to detect that the statement that General Mkhwanazi read at the press conference was not generated from his gadget. And we haven't asked him whether such an exercise is lawful or unlawful. And many other witnesses would have come before us and made similar claims. I think honorable members are right, and SC, the hostility between you and General Phahlane must cease and must cease now. The reason why I'm saying this is because earlier on in the afternoon, he raised concerns about bias, and we made him to withdraw that statement. And we must not assume it inadvertently, because where I stand is that that statement is dead and buried. But if we continue to engage with him in a confrontational manner, or in a manner that generates animosity, we may end up reinforcing certain suspicions. If we can be as professional as possible, and like we have always emphasized that when we engage here, let's have a conversation. Let's not be adversarial or accusatorial. Let's engage in a way that it becomes a conversation between us. Thank you.
May I proceed, Honorable Chair? General Phahlane, do you accept that your dismissal is as a result of the alleged irregularities surrounding the award of the tender to Itemba? Do you accept that that is the basis for your dismissal?
Chair, I had my hand up unless I'm not allowed to raise the hand so that I can talk to an issue before I answer that question.
You want to say something before you respond?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
You are very much allowed.
And I'm going to this document, and maybe just to put the Honorable Chair and members at ease. When I came here for consultation with counsel, we have told him that I have, in substantiating what Nkabinde was saying, I have even access to WhatsApp messages and documents emphasizing the point. That was during consultation between him and Advocate Mkhwanazi, and I was with my counsel. 2, it was in that meeting that I also sponsored my relationship with Ket Matlala. I told them up front that there is this thing and I know this person. And I explained the circumstances, how we met. Now, the first document, the WhatsApp messages, which is contained as part of my initial affidavit, they are on page, what is it? They are part of the bundle, it's annexure 30. So, they were here when I was here. The only thing that happened now, because we did not include the McBride Sarah Jane WhatsApps, after Honorable James went into those, because there were issues that I wanted to flag, which I'm not allowed to do because I'm not allowed to go through my affidavit. I then included them as part of the supplementary affidavit. And I said that supplementary affidavit purely carries documents, including the documents that were responding to people who were here, Ramalepe, Ramulove, and Malachi. Those documents, this is responding to that. So, but to close it, Chair, that's why my response was, I got them through the same way that you got them. These are part of the records of our affidavit that served before the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. In my submission when I started, I said, just like General Mkhwanazi, we had submitted to the Zondo Commission of Inquiry affidavits. General Mabula, who was the lead investigator in this matter. Now, in this matter, I'm referring to the same matter where Sarah Jane Trent was arrested, where allegedly she was kidnapped. Now, it's very strange in our country that when you arrest someone of a certain complexion, it is kidnapping. But when we arrest everyone else, it's arrest. So, Sarah Jane Trent's cell phone was taken, and I'm using the word loosely taken, during her arrest. And the due processes were followed by the investigation team in terms of having information retrieved from that phone. Because it's a phone that was used for the commission of crime. And the crime we are talking to, case 12 of 1/2017. We still want to know what is happening to that particular docket. I was told I'm going to get answers, even by the evidence leaders. I still don't have. So this is where these SMSs, WhatsApp messages are. So, Chair, I can't help it. If they were in the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, if they are part of the supporting affidavit, I don't know why I must be fingered. But I take ownership for this, because in here I included the affidavit of General Mabula and Brigadier Ngube, who were the investigating officer in this particular matter. And this is part of the evidence. Just like I was talking about the Section 70 evidence, which is there. Similarly, this is evidence, and one day, when there is justice in our country, and that case is being brought back before the court, these are part of the evidence that will be led. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Just for the record, I deny that during consultations there is a transcript, and we'll find it, that General Phahlane alerted us to these WhatsApp messages between McBride and Sarah Trent. It was raised in the McBride evidence, and issues were raised about them at the time. As far as the supplementary affidavit is concerned, I would invite General Phahlane and or his legal team to make available to us his affidavit before the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, and to see whether these WhatsApp messages are indeed attached to that affidavit. I'd be most surprised if it was the case. The affidavit, the main affidavit, the 165-page affidavit, and the supplementary affidavit was entirely the work of General Phahlane and his legal team. We had no hand in it. But I want to record, because he's sitting here and I'm looking at him now, my colleague, Advocate Samanga, I said to him, because we debated this over many days, whether we should make a joint affidavit, because we were not satisfied or happy with a 165-page affidavit. At the end, we agreed, you put your affidavit before this committee, but I'm not bound, the evidence leaders are not bound by what's in the affidavit, and we will ask questions, especially raised by other witnesses. So I will also now leave it there, Honourable Chair. I asked a question, General Phahlane, that your dismissal arises from the Itemba tender.
Honorable Chair, I've answered that question many times, and I'm on record to say I'm not going to engage any further on it. It's a subject of the Constitutional Court process.
So I will also put it to you that it arises from the Itemba contract. And if we look at the forensic reports which has been placed before this honourable committee, and that you have, it has absolutely nothing to do with either McBride or O'Sullivan or Trent. It has got to do with a tender that went wrong and that you were found ultimately to be responsible. And I'll move on to my next
Chair.
question.
Am I allowed to answer?
Honorable Skosan.
Chair, I'm going back again, Chair, because this document, which I think all the members, most of the members here have spoken about, was given to us and were not given by the witness. The witness gave it to the secretariat. If these documents are illegal, they were not supposed to be given this documents. It's it really is an indictment to us. This is an indictment to us. I mean, how can we have this? And then we are told it's this thing, perhaps there might be some issues about it. Then it means all the things we're questioning about there are illegal as well. It's not fair, Chair, that we are finding ourselves in this mud. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Nomvan.
No, Chair, once again, I want to reprimand what the senior counsel is doing. You can't put a proposition to a witness and say, let me move to another question, without affording the witness an opportunity to reply. Because here we're not making statements. You put a proposition and allow the witness to respond, because it's not a statement, it's a proposition. No one is in possession of conclusive evidence here. We're testing evidence. So don't come here and make conclusive statements and say your dismissal was not as a result of influence of McBride and Paul O'Sullivan, and just pass to another question without affording the witness an opportunity to reply. Chairperson, I don't know how many times we must raise this, but the hostility must end. If really the senior counsel has emotional issues against the witness, he must withdraw and allow his colleagues to lead evidence. Because he is not doing well. Senior counsel, you are being emotional, unnecessarily so. And we are not going to allow that. This is our committee. We are not going to allow you to show this hostility to witnesses. We will never allow that to happen. Not under our watch.
Honourable Chair, in all fairness, I did put to General Phahlane that his dismissal has entirely to do with the Itemba tender. He said his response was that the matter is now before the Constitutional Court and he's not going to answer. And then I put to him, in a totally unemotional and neutral manner, that I put it to you that if it's got to do with the Itemba tender only, it has nothing to do with the 3 persons that are mentioned. There's absolutely no emotion in putting it to the witness, and he can respond. General Phahlane,
Thank you, Chair. I have at no point attributed my dismissal to Sarah Jane Trent, or what is it, Robert McBride, or Paul O'Sullivan. At no point. I'll really be glorifying them. So, lastly on that issue, I think I'm very clear on where I stand, having taken legal advice. Chair, this matter, which consumed so much of my time before the committee, where I was not allowed to traverse my affidavit, is before the Constitutional Court as we speak. I've already answered questions to that regard. Now, I'm going to just, in conclusion, read something which actually struck me, and maybe this thing comes too far, and I'm not going to say much. Here is a response that I get from senior counsel following submission of my supplementary affidavit, in which I only attach documents. He writes, "Thank you for the supplementary affidavit which we will forward to the committee for its attention. Please note that we will not be bound by this affidavit and will, in our discretion, ask additional questions and also supplement the evidence bundle with additional documents." And that's precisely what happened here. Chair, I came and I'm leaving without having been allowed to go through the affidavit that I had. The only time that I was able to go through the affidavit was when I was responding to questions. Questions raised based on documents and affidavits which are not part and parcel of my affidavit. But who am I? I'm just a witness. And I guess that's how it is. Thank you, Chair.
may I proceed, Chair? Thank you. General Phahlane, again, if we could just agree some pretty trite, factual submissions, it would help. There are two, and perhaps just to clarify for the Honourable Committee, we're talking about two Kameeldrift cases. There's the one complaint against O'Sullivan, Trent, and IPID when they visited your place, and the other one is the Kameeldrift case where they complained about Mbalula, the Northwest General, his task team. That matter was dealt with by Judge Tuckton, and you have annexed that judgment to your affidavit. Is that right? And the other case, the other Kameeldrift case, where you complain against O'Sullivan and Trent and IPID members, that's the matter you say you're still waiting to hear what's going to happen with that case.
You are incorrect.
Okay, so perhaps let me then finish, and then if I'm incorrect, the Kameeldrift case, the one involving the complaint against O'Sullivan and Trent and IPID members. That's the one that's now been pending for 7 years. That is the one which had been struck off the roll in terms of 352A or something like that, of the Criminal Procedure Act, and was struck off the roll. Of course, it doesn't mean the case has gone away. It can still be revived. And we are getting Advocate Mashuga from the NPA here to explain to us what happened in the case, what is going to happen, and what perhaps are the next steps. We don't know. The other case of that Judge Tuckton dealt with is when an interdict was sought against the Northwest team to interdict them from arresting or taking what was described by the applicants, McBride, them as unlawfully harassing them and so on. And in that case, I can read it back to you if you want to. The judge recorded that you had in fact not participated in the case because you gave an undertaking that you will not be involved any further in the matter. And that's in the judgment.
Am I allowed to respond, Chair?
Yes, you can respond.
Yes, of course, General Phahlane.
It is incorrect to suggest there are two cases at Gamieldrift. General Mabula has no case registered by anyone against him at Gamieldrift. The Judge Tuchten's judgment, which was an attempt to interdict, was to interdict them from concluding they are continuing with investigations against IPID. And which investigation? Against IPID and O'Sullivan and Sarah Jane Trent, and that is case 12 of 1/2017. Judge Tuchten never interdicted anyone. For your information to the Honorable Committee, at a point where the matter was argued in court, it was General Mabula and them who were the respondent, and then IPID were the ones who initiated the matter in court. And then the National Commissioner and the Minister were cited in that particular matter. Both the Minister and the National Commissioner undertook to abide by the, by the decision of the court. Surprisingly, when the matter was argued in court, somewhere the late General Mkhwanazi was canvassed and he came with an undertaking, which undertaking served before the court, while there in the beginning there was an undertaking to abide. And the undertaking was, these members will be removed from the case because the allegation was that it's a counter-investigation. And Judge Tuchten was very clear. He said, I am dealing here, I just want to settle a legal issue. And that's where he said, in the IPID Act, there is section 25, which is saying, if, for example, an IPID member is under investigation or investigating a matter where he or she has got interest, he must report to the executive director. So Judge Tuchten then said, it will be wise to have such a provision in the Police Act. To date, there is no such provision. That is how General Mabula and them were withdrawn from that particular case. And that case moved from one person to the other. That's why we are talking of a matter which is stalling for all these years. despite the fact that when they stalled it, Advocate Mashuga will be here. They were applying, or they had applied for racketeering certificate because of what was happening, including these WhatsApp messages that are in there. So, Chair, that's where we are with this matter. I can't accept the version of the SC. It's truly misplaced.
I'll just read to you, General, from the judgment of Judge Ducton, paragraph 8, which is on your annexure MRR-28. Broadly, the applicant sought a declaration as to what would constitute an...
Where is it? So, sorry, Kansan. Where is it? In which?
It's
I think before you proceed, let's
in
agree.
your
let's
annexures.
SC, let's agree that in the next 10 minutes, you are concluding. Yeah.
MRR-28. It's the Tuckton judgment. And I'm reading from...
But Honorable Chair, I'm requesting to be told where in my affidavit is it?
Where is this MR8, the Tuckton judgment? It was also next to the annexures. That's MRR-28. What was it in the? Was it in our bundle? But they also included it in the bundle for today, the Tuckton judgment. Chair, because of time, may I just read this, and I'm reading from the judgment. The applicant sought a declaration.
But Honorable Chair, there is unfairness on my part. I'm asking where is the document? I don't have it.
I'm asking my colleagues to just locate the document, Chair. It's a Tuckton judgment which has been referred to even by General Phahlane during the course of
before
today.
you do that, Honorable Skosan.
Thank you, Chair. And I guess the 10 minutes we will take it, Chair. But I wanted to raise something, Chair. You know, it will sound or looks like the SC is defending Paul also Sullivan, Robert McBride, and Sarah. The way this conversation between himself and the general, it doesn't give confidence. Honestly speaking, Chair, the 10 minutes will take. But I can tell you, I mean, some senior SC will really talk to the off record to the SC. Honestly, you know, ever since the last 15, 20 minutes. The way the conversation goes, it doesn't instill confidence. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Look, he is well within the terms of reference. If he's probing because he wants to adduce evidence relating to corruption within the SAPS, he is well within the terms of reference. You know, my biggest worry is that since General Phahlane came here on the first day, we are unable to move out of the courtroom. That is my biggest worry. We have been in the courtroom from the first day. We have been in the courtroom this afternoon, and we are still in the courtroom now. As you move towards concluding, Advocate Arons.
Chairperson, I'm afraid that does happen, even in a hearing of this kind, when there's a dispute over what constitutes the facts. none of what I'm putting to General Phahlane is an ambush or should come as a surprise. I've just been reminded by my colleague Advocate Mkhwanazi that this judgment was made available to General Phahlane in hard copy when he first testified, and it was at their request was subsequently emailed to them. So,
Okay, before we proceed, let's take Honorable Sauls.
Chair, we must protect the integrity of this committee. My understanding is that the SC is supposed to lead evidence. So whatever he's talking about has to be in front of the witness, because that's the purpose of consultation. And so we cannot run away from the fact that even if the SC doesn't call it an ambush, but it's an ambush. The witness should have been informed, we are going to use this because we're leading, and in cross-examination, because it seems like the SC has chosen to do that too, he should be transparent and fair to the witness. The witness should know, he should lead and cross-examine, but in a fair and a transparent way. Otherwise, it will come across that this committee is not fair and we have chosen a side. And I urge you, Chair, to protect the integrity of this committee. Thank you, sir.
You are making a very valid point, Honorable Sauls. What is the document to which we are referring the witness to?
you're asking a question, Chair?
Yes.
It's a judgment by Judge Tuckton.
Does the witness have?
And the judgment, I had said a few minutes ago, the judgment was made available to General Phahlane when he last testified. I think it was on the 16th of January. It was also emailed to them. And it relates to matter that he raises in his affidavit. There's no ambush, there's no unfairness. He deals with the capture of iPad. He deals with what he describes as the Phahlane task team at page 85 of his affidavit.
Yeah, Honorable Sauls.
These matters are all relevant to the terms of reference,
Yeah.
Honorable Chair.
That is not under dispute. What Honorable Sauls wanted to ascertain is whether the witness has that document at his disposal now.
You are 100% correct, Chair. And for the integrity of the committee, seeing that it was sent the last time, can the document just be retrieved and given to the witness? Then we know the witness has it in front of him, as he can continue, and the integrity of our committee is preserved.
Honorable Chair, for the sake of time, I think we also need to be, integrity equals consistency in one's approach to witnesses. We had a situation where a batch of WhatsApps was put to a witness without that witness having sight of it. No one objected. I couldn't object. We couldn't object. At the end of that exchange, when the content of those WhatsApps were communicated to the whole of the country and all the voters and people who voted honourable members into Parliament.
This is not correct.
No,
The SC is now making it look like...
Yeah, SC, I think that we are going to stop the proceedings here.
Chair, but senior counsel has to withdraw, Chair.
No, honourable members, we do not conduct ourselves. We are leadership. No, we are leadership, honorable members.
Oh, we sit here quiet, you're
Um,
just quiet.
SC,
No, and it's not the first time
We-
the senior council comes here and makes political statements, Chair,
We-
and you sit there,
the
and then
the
you have to
committee-
wait for us to call him out on
The
it.
committee
He must
agreed-
actually just
agreed
leave right
that,
now,
um,
and we must dismiss him.
the committee agreed that
No, it's wrong.
any member who has evidence that they want to pass on to the witness will do so through the legal team. And that is why this morning you saw when we were engaging, before engagement with Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, members came here with documents and they presented them to you. That's what happened. The information that members have used today here is an information that has been provided by the legal team. And they use that information to question the witness. So we don't like it when we have to make judgments on your statements. And I think it's fair that you should help us so that we are not seen to be undermining you and not attaching any value to the work that you are doing to the committee. We very much respect you, and we have said it many times that when we look back where we come from, we look back with admiration on the work that we have done up to so far, and we are now trotting towards the finishing line. We are left with only 2 weeks of these proceedings. And it's very possible that we can safely arrive at the finishing line. And we want to work together, hand holding each other by the hand to arrive at the finishing line. And that's exactly what we must do. Honorable Souls.
Chair, we always respect and appreciate your wisdom in these matters. We do. But at this juncture, we've been trying to preserve the integrity of this committee. And for the SC to say about us that we are not impartial, that is wrong, and Chair, you must call him out on it. And the SE must withdraw that statement. He made it publicly about us. That statement the SE just made says to the country, our senior counsel believes that we are acting unprocedurally here. He should correct it today and immediately, Chair.
Inconsistently. That's what you said, SC, that we must be consistent. We have been consistent in our work as the committee. And remember, we also have housekeeping meetings where we box each other as committee members to say, this is how we do our things. The last meeting we held was this Monday, because from time to time we evaluate, we assess and evaluate how we do our work. But let me say this to you. When General Phahlane appeared for the first time before the committee, you had the whole day with him. The whole day, the first day. And then he came back today from 2 o'clock. You requested 2 hours, we gave you. And members asked him questions. The list of members has been exhausted. It's almost an hour now since members have finished asking him questions. And I think now we are at a stage where we should conclude these proceedings. If there is anything that you want to say or any question that you want to ask, it's going to be the last question.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Chair, you must withdraw.
Yeah, I'll come back, Honorable Source. We need to give the SC chance to...
Why are you lenient on the SC, Chair? The SC has hampered our image. Why are you delaying requesting him to withdraw? It's wrong what he did.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
May he please withdraw?
He must
Chair.
withdraw the statement that he made about the committee.
Honorable Chair, with due respect, I didn't make any disparaging or disrespectful remark about the committee. Not at all. I'm afraid Honorable Sauls is not correct in his recollection of what I said. What I did say was that the Honorable Committee should be consistent in its approach to the witnesses, and I made an example of the emails, the WhatsApp, sorry, that were produced
by Honorable James.
By Honorable James in relation to Mr. McBride.
Yeah.
That is the comment.
And what we are saying is that you must withdraw that statement because you were in our meeting on Monday, you heard what the committee said. We are consistent.
Chair, if the remark, which is based on a fact, is disrespectful and disparaging of the committee, then I would unconditionally withdraw it.
No.
Otherwise, Honorable Chair, I've...
Earlier during the day, we requested General Phahlane to withdraw a statement. And he said, I withdraw unconditional. So can we withdraw that statement unconditional?
Honorable Chair, that's what I said. Yes, I said I withdraw it unconditionally.
Honorable members, I know it has been a long day. Can we give the advocate chance to withdraw the statement unconditional?
Honorable Chair, honorable members of this committee, I withdraw the statement unconditionally.
Thank you so much. Your last question to General Phahlane.
I don't have any further questions, Honorable Chair.
General Phahlane, do you have any comments that you want to make?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I just want to place it on record that I was invited to assist this honorable committee with the work the committee is supposed to be doing in investigating whatever transpired in the South African Police Service and maybe broader. But my focus is solely closer to home, the South African Police Service. I place it on record that I am bitterly disappointed with myself that I was not able, of course not with a fault of mine, I was not able to place my affidavit and the issues contained therein before this honorable committee. I of course accepted the responsibility that I have to answer questions, and I have done so to the best of my ability. For reasons beyond my control, parts of my affidavit were deliberately skipped. I did not experience what I know is leading a witness. I was subjected to interrogation. Unfortunately, it can be considered to be leading of evidence, and I'm hurt that this will happen to me in the People's Parliament. Let it not happen to anyone else but me. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Matthys.
Chair, just to close, I think Lieutenant General must know that the reflection of this committee is not only the evidence leader. So we are members of Parliament, and the fact that we've had this discussion shows that there was a sense of fairness in you presenting over here, because we did not allow it. The fact that we've had very heated engagements on there. So when you leave here, I don't think it's fair for you to say that you leave here without you being heard and that you were not protected by members of Parliament. Thank you.
Honorable Ngola.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, we would have seriously observed the proceedings in light of ensuring that there is progress. And I believe that it is important that we put it out there that there is no verdict on anyone in these proceedings in any aspect that would have been led either by members or by the evidence leaders. There is completely no verdict. We are going to assess on the committee deliberations all forms of evidence that would have been submitted to the committee. It's not for us now to either try to project anyone to have been right or to have been wrong. It's important that we run this inquisitorial process in a manner that is dignified, that reflects that we are a parliament of the people. If out of our actions, General Phahlane feels that there are elements where he feels that he would have felt oppressed and congested by pressure from us, we do apologize. We are trying the best we can to ensure that there is impartiality in the process. We are going to deal with all other issues relating to what he has submitted in some of our housekeeping meetings. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Souls.
Through you, Chair. General Phahlane, I just want to be clear on the record. I do not apologize for my session with you. I studied your affidavit and asked you and probed you based on your affidavit. So, and I was impartial. I merely focused on the content of your affidavit, and I will not apologize for that. I've done my work as a committee member for the benefit of our country. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. General, this committee had allocated you 1 day from the schedule that we adopted. We have allocated 1 day, and when we met with you, you raised this matter that 1 day will not be sufficient, and the committee agreed to that request that we will get another day. We will come and continue our engagements with you. And what these honorable members are saying is that all the witnesses that have appeared before us, there is not even an iota of evidence presented before us that has been evaluated so far. we are still in the process of gathering evidence. We will, at the end of the proceedings, sit in a series of meetings to evaluate the evidence that individual witnesses would have presented before us. And we will compile a report that will be going to the National Assembly. But remember, if we make an adverse finding against you, we are going to share the report with you before we finalize it for your comments or any other statement that you may want to make. So we want you to live here with that understanding and confidence that we are doing our work in good faith. We are doing our work with utmost integrity. And we want to thank you so much for your time, yourself and your legal team. And we must also thank the evidence leaders, because your affidavit was one of the longest affidavits ever. But here we are today at the conclusion of our engagements with you. As we release you, I'm going to request members to remain for one decision. The decision that we need to take here, I want to check with honorable members if we want Mr. Robert Paul O'Sullivan back here. Honorable Ngola.
Yeah, Chair. I think it's common cause that his evidence was not complete. So there is no doubt that we want Mr. Paul O'Sullivan back to appear in this parliament. And as part of actually showing that parliament is not a shebeen, you don't behave anyhow you want. We must actually ensure that the dignity and the decorum of parliament is not eroded by such conduct and such behaviors. So we want to set an example with Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. He must speak, he must come back here. So we suggest that we write a letter and schedule a date for him, failing which, and the date must just be next week. Tomorrow is Friday, by Tuesday, he must appear before us, failing which we are subpoenaing him to come and appear. Thank you.
MKP.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. Chair, Paul O'Sullivan must come back to the committee, but we are making a further submission because we have been reliably told that for his previous appearance to this committee, he claimed a lot of money from Parliament. He claimed 90,000. He slept in a 6-star hotel. Whereas there is no witness who has ever booked for themselves in a 6-star hotel. So that money must not be given to him up until he comes back to the committee. Where we have a problem, Chair, where we have mixed emotions, maybe the legal advisors or our legal team can advise, is on whether we should write a letter to him or subpoena him, because the manner in which he has left the house, Chair, warrants a subpoena, in my understanding. We can subpoena him because of the manner in which he has left. Because if we write a letter to him, remember the clause that has been read to us, that says, if a person has been summoned, then you can lay a criminal charge if he contemns Parliament. Now, if he comes back, or if we invite him, we're running out of time. If we invite him to come and it doesn't appear, or he comes and misbehaves, we are not going to lay criminal charges right on the spot because he would have not been summoned. So my view, unless the legal team suggests otherwise, our view is that let's subpoena him to come here because we do have a right in terms of the law to subpoena him. That is our position, Chair. But we agree that he must come back, and if the law was permitting, we're going to say, let's lay criminal charges against him for what he has done.
You know, because we earlier agreed that they must give us an opinion. Let's stick to the decision whether we want him to come back or not. Do we want him to come back, Honorable Kalabanat?
Chairperson, that's not up to me, it's up to the evidence leaders. The lawyers must decide if they want him back. I'd just like to point out he had not been subpoenaed, and he apparently had told, which I heard him mention a number of times, that he had to leave at 1 for an aeroplane. So he didn't say anything about his own private plane. He obviously had a ticket to go somewhere. So as far as I could see, he didn't break any law. But that's up to, I mean, the ruling is he had not been subpoenaed, and so he was here of his own volition, which he was the last time. He flew back to the country specifically to attend. So I think it has to be left up to the evidence leaders. There was like one question, as I think was still going to be asked by the evidence leaders. It's up to them to decide whether they need him to come back to do that. I don't think he would need to be subpoenaed to come back to answer one question. Thank you.
Yeah. He is appearing before the committee, not the evidence leaders. That is why I'm circulating amongst you as committee members to hear you, what your decision would be. I mean, the evidence leaders, Advocate Mkhize, I asked her, did you finish your questions? She said no.
I thought the members had finished, which is why I proposed that. Thank you.
The witness had left before the evidence leaders could finish. Honorable Matthys.
Chair, yes, he must come back. He was not relieved from this parliament. So even if there was one question, he must come back to answer that question. And then the matter, we all know he wasn't subpoenaed, but he was in contempt of this parliament because he walked out before he was released. Just like any court, you will not walk out on a magistrate or a judge before you are officially released, plain or no plain, arrangements or no arrangements. So we must not come here and sugarcoat what that man did.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sangoen.
Yeah, thanks. Chair, I agree with the prevailing view in the House, and I also agree with your suggestion that we must get that legal opinion. But I do want to say that Mr. O'Sullivan has committed an offense is common cause. Because if you read the Powers, Privileges and Immunities Act, while it speaks about duly summons, the section speaks about witnesses. So he has committed an offense. He is liable to a sanction for that offense. Inviting him here is only merely, in my view, the first step towards deciding whether that sanction should be imposed on him. So I don't want it to come across by inviting him, we are downplaying the fact that he has committed an offense in this parliament and he has broken the law, which is the Powers, Privileges and Immunities Act. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. I want to emphasize as well that, Paul O'Sullivan, the contempt of Parliament arises when a conduct of unlawful interferes with Parliament in the performance of its constitutional functions. The Act provides us as well. We should not shy away from that. The concept is therefore not limited to disorderly behavior in this chamber, which he has done. Failure to comply with summons in case he doesn't even want to do that. In fact, for me, we should not even invite him to come here. We must summon him.
You support that he must come back?
I'm supporting that because the powers and privileges we have to do that, Chair. He has to come and answer. If you remember, Honorable Malema, when he was still here, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, he said we are going to have a bite even after that. So we didn't confirm, as Honorable Papanat is saying, we didn't conclude that. And in fact, he must come and answer why he left this parliament. The integrity of this parliament has to be protected. This, what it costs today, it undermines and it will set a bad precedent in this country that we have somebody who've got 3 passports who can just leave us here as if we are fools. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sols.
Oh, Chair, we must send a very, very clear message that if you're in contempt of our duties or our processes, we will deal with you. We must also not be emotional. We must focus on procedure. And by him coming back shows that we are not emotional, we are about the work that we do. But we must be very, very strict on not allowing contempt. There is a sanction, of course, based on the Act, Section 13. But I want to say, Chair, if it is true what Honorable Nomvalo has said, that he has slept in 6-star hotel and it's 90,000 and he's claiming back from Parliament, if that is true, Parliament should not pay what he spent. Parliament should only pay what they've paid other witnesses or paid for other witnesses. So if another witness, Parliament spent 5,000 rand on another witness, they must only give him back 5,000. It's not our business that he spent 90,000. So we must be very clear about that, Chair, because otherwise we would have been treating him different than other witnesses. But I do agree that he should come back. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Wessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. I agree that Mr. O'Sullivan's conduct was unacceptable, but I do want to caution us against coming across being petty. If it's a serious violation or transgression of the Act, then just having him come back is not enough. And if it's just to answer one or half of a question, that's a little petty for actually a serious offense. Chairperson, maybe we should consider getting the advice before we really consider what action we take, because maybe the sanction and implementing the sanction is better than just bringing him back. We shouldn't come across petty. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. I think he must definitely come back, but I'm a little bit concerned because we cannot possibly follow the same process as before and expect a different outcome. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan has shown us on several occasions who he is and what he's capable of. If we extend an invitation to him just by means of a letter, he comes here voluntarily, he acts up, bag full of tricks, and he walks out again, and we look like idiots. We need to have a different approach this time in terms of how we get him here, even if it means we drag him here, we subpoena him here, and we show him who is in charge here. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sopa.
My colleagues already covered me, thank you.
Okay. Honorable Sokanyila.
Thank you, Chair. He must come, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Shongwe.
Chair, for me, Chair, ngithelelele petrol ngambe ngevan ngiyomlanda. This person must be subpoenaed, Chair. My worry is one. I said this last year, Chair, ukuthi uPaul uzobaleka in this country. I worry, Chair, if we treat him soft and ask him ukuthi cela ubuye again, and he says no, then we have an option to subpoena him. We are taking it right, Chair. This guy has 3 passports. Number one, if we take his passport yake South Africa, he can still exit South Africa with the Dutch or Ireland passport. So, Chair, we must be very, very strict and similar to South Africans, because South Africans because this thing what he did is very, very wrong and undermining umthetho walache. So I don't agree with Ugumbiza. I agree with the Chair he must be subpoenaed so that he understands what asidlali lache. As much as Chair he can say he came on his, he was willing, he came willingly. That doesn't mean he can leave at any time. Chair, when you come to Parliament, you make time and you open time for a parliament. Look at the general, usahleli namanje usilalele sikhuluma ezinye izinto. That means uyahlonipha. So it's not about us, Chair, it's about South Africans. We are here because of a vote of South Africans. We must respect that. Paul Sullivan said his safety is not 100%. He can't come here and all that. But when he left here at Delela, he left here without even thinking of his security, he even drove himself out of here. So we must not consider such nonsense, Chair. He's busy calling us rubbish and stuff here. That guy undermines us, and the chairman angithi simsapone, simbizela ngesapone. We must not call him to or ask him to come here. We must subpoena him ezela.
Okay. Advocate Arensa.
Honourable Chair, honourable members, what Mr. O'Sullivan did today is totally unacceptable. It would otherwise be unparliamentary and be subject to whatever sanctions the House imposes in such circumstances. We did, and my colleague Advocate Mkhwanazi did have some questions left for him. So it's also in circumstances where his evidence has still not been concluded. So from the evidence leader's viewpoint, he needs to come back to conclude his evidence and then deal with the issue of his walkout. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honourable members, the unanimous agreement here is that Mr. Paul O'Sullivan must come back and appear before this committee. I think when you were drafting the statement with him, Advocate Mkhwanazi, he knew the questions the way they were lined up, and when you started asking those questions, he knew where you were going. And there was no other way to escape from the proceedings. But look, you know, when I was at a primary school, there used to be a short story with the heading, a thankless snake. If you know how we were very sympathetic towards him the last time when he was in pain. And it is a slap on our face. He was struggling very bitterly, and all of us sympathized with him in many ways, going even to an extent of putting him in our prayers. That whatever pain he has with the fire of the grace, that pain must be lessened, or that pain must vanish. And today he came and spitted on our face. He came and spit on our face the way he did. So we agree that he must come back. And number two, members are also saying that there is an offense that has been committed. When the legal team generates that opinion, that aspect must not miss. And on the logistical aspects of it is that there are claims that he has submitted, so the Speaker and the administrative authorities of Parliament will be advised on such matters as the committee has raised them. So let's be reminded, honourable members, that we are a constitutional democracy. South Africa is a constitutional democracy. No matter how angry we may be, whatever administrative action we take, it must pass the test of reasonableness. It must pass the test of rationality. It must pass the test of fairness. It must pass the test of justification. Because if it does not meet those standards, we are going to find ourselves with an egg on our faces again. Reasonableness, fairness, rationality, justification. And for us to justify a subpoena, we must prove that a reasonable action has been taken before we arrived at the decision to subpoena the witness. And the reasonable action we are going to take, honorable members, is the same laborious and tedious action of engaging with the witness, including writing to him to inform him that the committee wants him to appear before it on a particular date. Failure to abide, the committee will be justifiable in whatever action it takes or whatever application it makes. Because we can be animated, but at the end of it, logic must still prevail. So we have had you, the short meeting that I had with the speaker, she said that you are coming to me here to tell me how the witness left the chambers, but you are not telling me what the decision of the committee is. So go back to them and ask them if they want him to come back before them, because where we stand, we are still surprised as Parliament how a person can just stand up and walk like that, especially when you are watching from television. You just see a person standing up and walking from the chair. Not if you know the last time when we were at Good Hope, occasionally he will come to my table, say, Chairperson, what time do you think we can finish? Yeah, we had that type of conversations. And I looked at him, you know, I was dumbfounded, because he's not the kind of witness that I knew from the previous 2 days that we had with him, when he was always coming to my table to check what could happen. I think, and the appeals that he would occasionally make to the chair to say, Chairman, even today when he wanted to leave, I think he could have just shouted and said, Chairman, can I please be allowed? And then we hear what members are saying, and then we release him the same way we did last time when we discussed and agreed that let's release him to go and rest. And he wanted to come back at 5 o'clock the following day. But we said, no, let's have time. You will come back on a date that we will agree with you. Even now, Mr. Tejana and Advocate Arense, together with those other members of the team, let's start to engage him, but we must make sure that tomorrow he receives our letter that we want him to appear before us. Honorable members, Honorable Matthews, yes.
Just one thing, I just want us to be very clear, yeah? The issue of him coming back
Yeah, he's
is
coming
one
back.
issue. The other issue of contempt of Parliament is a different issue.
Yes.
So we must not think that him coming back, whether we summons him or whatever, is not going to deal with the
doesn't
issue
cancel
of
that.
contempt. Because you said the Speaker just asked you whether he must come back, not about what are we going to do about the contempt.
Yeah.
So I just wanted clarity. Thank you,
The,
Chair.
the rest of the aspects, the Speaker also relies on the advice of the Parliamentary Legal Services that will be given to us. Yeah. Thank you so much, honorable members. Before you leave, this weekend it's a weekend where the Republic comes to a standstill when the former spokesperson, your team is no longer in the PSL.
Yeah, but I mean, one developer has beaten both teams.
No.
Thank you.
I'm saying that the two teams that you were spokesperson to, Mpumalanga Black Aces and Supersport United, are no longer in the PSL.
Asrik is there.
So you are like me. We Makwelere Rail Rovers and Ria Stars are also. So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend, honorable members.
What time are we meeting
The
on
proceedings
Tuesday, Chair?
are unfortunately adjourned.
Chair,
Chair,
you
on
mustn't be
Monday,
scared to
Honorable
tell
Mkhize is
South
coming to
Africans
account
that they
for asking
can
hard
affect
questions with
citizens'
Paul Sullivan.
arrest. We can have citizens' arrest in the country.